All right. Here's some of the things they did to go legitimate. 1934, Sam Bronfmans was given his first respectable post as chairman of the National Jewish People's Relief Committee of Canada. In 1939, he was appointed as head baron the Hirsch's, which is the Rothschild Jewish Colonization Association. Okay, the same association that brought in Jacob Bronfman to Canada in the 1880s. In the same year, this is 1939 we're talking about, Canadian Pacific Corporation invited Sam Bronfman to establish a new refugee organization for Eastern European Jews. In 5 years, the Prince of Crime was transformed by the good grace of His Majesty into a Zionist philanthropist, the one whose post followed after another. He became the head of the Canadian Jewish Committee, replacing Lynn Cohen, the son of Lazarus Cohen, the founder of the Jewish Colonization Association. After World War II, Sam Bronfman established the National Conference of Israel and Jewish Rehabilitation, and his considerable smuggling skills to run guns over there. Similar posts of other Bronfmans. Alan Bronfman was named the National President of the Zionist Organization of Canada, member of the Board of Trustees of the Federation of Jewish Philanthropists, the National Coalition of Canadian Jewish Congress. Abe Bronfman was posted to the Joint Distribution Committee for the National Council of Canadian Jewish Congress. In 1969, the Bronfmans were given the highest reward issued by Her Majesty. Sam was made a Knight Grace of the Most Honorable Order of St. John of Jerusalem. His brother Alan and his son Charles were appointed to the highest rank, Knight of Justice of the Order. These appointments were emphatically not ceremonial, but are only bestowed on those who have carried out the most dangerous and fruitful missions for the British Crown. The Bronfman's time has truly come. Sam's children are welcomed to the elite by intermarriage. Mindy Bronfman married Baron D. Allen Ginsberg, himself an extension of the Rothschild family tree. The Ginsberg sits on the board of directors of Seagram's, the directors of the Bank Louis Dreyfus, Dreyfus Funds, controls the Siegel Lewis Hirschman Investment Fund. Edgar Bronfman's first marriage to Ann Lowe, that's the one that was the son of Sam Bronfman, brought him instantly in the command post position with a Wall Street house of Lowe and Rhodes while taking over Seagram's main branch in New York. Edgar's marriage clinched the tie to our crowd that had begun during the Prohibition. His second marriage to Lady Caroline Towson was unsuccessful. Phyllis Bronfman married Jean Lambert, a Belgian banking and mining interest. We know them as Merrill Lynch.
Wow, they're everywhere.
Right. Yet despite their mountains of wealth, their hard-won entry in the realms of good breeding, it would be a mistake to think the Bronfmans were a power in their own right. When it comes to the question of control, they are treated as if the money was not their own. All right. So they can go on basically showing the money's tied in back to the British Crown. There is one financial institution that is more closely linked to the ADL than any other, the Sterling National Bank of New York. In 1982, the Italian authorities filed a civil suit against the Sterling National Bank and other financial institutions on behalf of their depositors out of Italy. The chairman of Sterling at the time of the theft, it was a theft obviously, alleged that Theodore Silbert, another honorary chairman of the ADL and former head of the ADL Appeal, its major fundraising arm. Law enforcement sources have identified Sterling National as a mob front since its founding in 1929 by Meyer Lansky, an associate of Frank Erickson. Sterling National was also implicated in a tax evasion scheme in the early 80s to another ADL-linked bank director, Arnold Burns, a Reagan-era U.S. Attorney General. Burns' law firm, Burns & Summit, apparently set up a string of Caribbean tax shelters which shielded millions of dollars of taxable income through non-existent research and development investments in Israel. Okay? So that was sweet of him. Former Reagan official, an ambassador to Italy, Maxwell Rabb, another long-standing Sterling National Director, was a one-time business partner of Meyer Lansky in the International Airport Hotel. Yet another mob-linked banker who sits on the ADL National Commission is listed in the League's most recent purpose and program as an honorary vice chairman is Leonard Abess of City National Bank of Miami. In 1981, Abess bought a Colombian cartel money launderer, Alberto Duque, onto the bank board. He remained until he was jailed for money laundering in 1986. The following year, Donald Beasley was named the city's national chairman. Beasley was a former director of Guggenheim Bank, believed to have been a major laundering conduit for Southeastern Asian heroin, as well as black funds derived from illicit trafficking of Theodore Shackley and another former top CIA officials implicated in the Iran-Contra scandal. Okay? So there's tying in the ADL to the mob, to the Iran-Contra scandal, and drug smuggling.
Wow.
A listing of the ADL Financial Contributions Award recipients over the years is like a who's who of the Meyer Lansky International Crime Syndicate. Longtime Lansky cronies such as Victor Posner. Okay? Victor Posner was tied in with NCAA records, okay? The Scream Actor Grills, the whole mess with Reagan, Dark Victory, Victor Posner, Hollywood attorney Sidney Korshak, and Mo Dallas all appeared as ADL patrons. Mo Dallas was the one who set up Las Vegas, and he was the head of the Cleveland Detroit Mafia, which expanded all the way out to Pittsburgh. And also there was, what's his name, Mr. K Street. U.S. Senator Rick Santorum had loyalties. Part of his loyalty was to the Mo Dallas gang, which is also known as the Purple Gang or the Detroit Mafia, and also the organized crime activities in the East. So we had a dual loyalty there. Real sweetheart he was. Well, we saw what he did with K Street and really corrupted our country. Same pattern holds true for regional levels of the ADL. For instance, Phil Baskin, a Pittsburgh attorney, Democratic Party fixer, known as the chief operator for the ADL in Western Pennsylvania, was forced to resign as a senior partner in his law firm after being implicated in an effort to deliver a major airport construction contract to a top figure in the Gambino family, Nicky Sands. Okay? Honorary board director for the ADL. Further south, Paul Lipkin, a chairman of the Virginia Regional Board Director of the ADL, was for decades a personal attorney for Arthur Bootsy Goldstein, the biggest phonographer distribution in Norfolk. Okay, Goldstein was arrested 85 times, served 3 times in jail for selling glue to minors and peddling sex paraphernalia. No discussion of the ADL tie to organized crime and the drug apparatus would be complete without reference to Edgar Bronfman, the ADL honorary chairman, and its chief to its New York appeal, which is their fundraiser arm. Today, touted as a leading international businessman, philanthropist, chairman of the prestigious World Jewish Congress, Bronfman has been unable to erase the taint left by the fact that his entire family fortune and its majority share in EIU Pont du Mort derived from his father's prohibition bootlegging activities. Known at the time as the Bronfman Gang, Kibagaki and Bronfmans were the main illegal suppliers for the American syndicate known as Murder Incorporated. By no later than 1920, Edgar's son, Arnold Rothstein, Agent Jacob Katzenberg, were dispatched to Hong Kong to arrange opium supplies and set up the distribution routes right after bootlegging. That's what we said before. Bronfman family remains tied to the gutter levels of organized crime. while Edgar and his brothers and the cousins have managed to wrap themselves in somewhat of a ragged clothes of respectability. Edgar's nephew, Mitchell Bronfman, was named in 1972 by the Montreal Crime Commission as an intimate of local crime boss Willie Obertrino.